we would like to say is humility is being teachable, that you are willing to learn. You are humble enough that you are willing to sit under somebody's feet, learn and grow. If we look at the book of Exodus 18, 19 to 22 says, "Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you." This is the account of Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, visiting the camping site of the Israelites. And as this old man came to visit his son-in-law Moses, he saw a big problem. And here is the problem. You must be the people representative before God and bring your dispute to Him. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases, they can decide themselves. Great crowd was standing in long queue, waiting for their turn to come and speak to Moses, and it is taking the energy of Moses because the crowd is big and huge, and he is not able to dispense justice to these people who are coming for counsel. When his father-in-law saw this, he said, "Hey, what you're doing is not right. You should be the representative of God. Yet, you can appoint men and women, men who are God-fearing, and they will take up the simple and the cases which are not serious, but let the big thing or let the big cases come only to you." That was what Jethro advised his son-in-law Moses. Moses by now was a great leader. He has proved himself to be the number one in the Israelite community. Yet, he listened to the advice of his father-in-law. Humility is willing to learn from seniors. And we see dozens of principles in the Bible that Joshua learned from his master Moses for the last 40 years. He was walking under the direction of Moses for the last 40 years. And when Moses was gone, he became a great leader of the Israelites people. And we also see Elisha and Elijah. Elijah was the mentor, and Elisha was the student who poured water and served Elijah wherever he goes. And in the scriptures we see that when his master was taken up into heaven in the fiery chariot, and the mantle came over to him, and he took the mantle, and the scriptures say that Elisha did more miracles and more wonders than his master Elijah. But he was earlier pouring out water and serving his master Elijah. And we see Timothy and Paul. Paul was the mentor to Timothy, and Timothy grew and learn and equip from his master direction. Humility is also not only learning from the experience, learning from the wise, but humility is also even learning from our juniors. Learning from somebody who is even weaker than us. Learning from our children. Learning from first-year students. Learning from everybody. When we have humility, we open doors for learning. And that should be our attitude as Christians. Our heart should be always teachable all the time. And one thing that I observe back at home and even here sometime, in the church, we see this very often. When somebody is preaching, especially at home, the deacon will be sitting right behind, or the pastor will be sitting behind. And when somebody is preaching, they will not listen to the sermon that somebody is preaching, but they will be reading the Bible, or they will be writing. I don't think they are writing sermon notes, but they must be writing some other thing. And they are not paying attention to what the preacher is preaching. And these have been the habits and the convention of our people even in the church. What I'm trying to say is we should be willing to learn from one another. Sometimes our heart is bloated out with pride, and we don't have room to learn from one another. Another ugliness in each one of us is, I don't have to learn from him that I'm better than anybody. I'm better than Mr. So and so. So I don't have to learn from him. I have a greater mark, or I have a greater score, then I don't have to learn from. I'm more experienced. I've been preaching for the last 14 years, and somebody come up and preach here. I can say I have been preaching for the last 14 years, and I don't have to listen to this junior preacher. But that is not right. That is what I'm trying to say. And we often do all the time, especially when somebody who is smaller, somebody who is weaker, somebody who is poorer, or somebody who is more junior to us take up responsibilities, we just take it for granted. No. We have to learn from everybody. The Bible says, consider others better than yourselves. This is the teaching of God's word in Philippians 2:3. Are you teachable, friends? Are you willing to learn from your senior? And are you also willing to learn from your junior? Are you humble enough to learn and be willing to learn? And willing to sit under the feet of someone? Unless we are teachable, we will never become great. All the great men who have contributed for the cause of Christianity or for the cause of this world are people who are willing to learn, are people who are humble, and they grow up and they change the course of the society or the nation. You should be teachable, I should be teachable, no matter what. Even if you are the topmost. Moses was the topmost. There was none like Moses. Every Israelite were looking up to him because he has done so many miracles. But yet this man willing to learn. And he continued to grow in his leadership. That's what we need to do. And we should be teachable all the time. Are you? Examine yourself today. The second point is humility is serving others. It is from Mark 10:45. Our scripture reader has read out for all of us. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for man. Our dear sister Katoidu is an SI in Delhi police, and she must be having so many subordinates in her office and also superior. And the military, they have their own way of respect and serving and saluting one another. But we have to learn from the Bible. Even if you are great, Jesus was the greatest. He was the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Yet, he served. He do the most menial job that any servant can do. Humility is willing to serve others. Jesus plainly said, I came to serve, not to be served. But what we want is the opposite. We want people to serve us. We want people to treat us well. We want respect, and we demand respect. But I tell you again, if respect is demanded, that is not true respect. Respect should be earned. If the great one is willing to sweep the floor, definitely his glory will increase and increase. The subordinate will look up to him. Oh, that high officer. Oh, the King of Kings is willing to wash my feet, or willing to take down and be so humble, and your glory will go up. That is what Jesus has done for us. Jesus was the master in the room. Nobody was greater than him. He is the master. He is the teacher. And his disciples were his students. Not just an ordinary master, but a great master, a great teacher, a rabbi, a powerful man. They have seen all the miracles and wonders, feeding 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, calming the raging storm. Yet he dragged himself with clothes and he washed the feet of his disciples. Do you have that kind of attitude when it comes to serving? Everybody has a position. Whether you are a father in your family, or a mother in your house, or you are the seniors in your sibling, or you hold certain position in your church or in your organization, you have some authority that people look up to you and you can command and you can exercise. Every one of us is blessed with certain authority, with certain superiority. Yet, we, every one of us, must be willing to humble ourselves and serve our subordinates, serve our juniors, serve our students. That is what Jesus has done. And he wants us to live that kind of lifestyle. Lately, there was a WhatsApp photos going viral, recently, I should say, about a Mizoram MLA Miss Bird serving as an usher in the church. And this is a rare sight for our northeastern Christians. Hardly. Maybe my knowledge is shallow and I have not known, but very rare. MLA standing outside the church door and serving the church office. Sometimes our MLAs are being treated and then being lifted high. Yes, they are honorable MLA and we should honor them. But at the church, whether he is an MP or a king or lord or queen, he is a brother and he is a sister. We are under the authority of Christ and we have to respect and we have to uphold the bond of Christianity by being humble and willing to serve. Miss Bird was serving, holding the offering basket and trying to give her service with the Lord. ask you very personal questions to all. Have you returned a faithful service to God for all His good works that He has done for you? Have you returned a faithful service to God for all the good work He has done for you and is doing for you? God has done so many things for you and is doing even today. And we all are seated because God is so gracious, God is so kind, God is so good, God is so protective, God is so merciful and forgiving. That's why I'm here today and all of you are sitting. What return of gratitude you have returned to Him for His faithful service that He had rendered for you? What have you done for God? Have you? I say have you? This is a personal thing for all of us. We should serve our subordinate and be willing to return what God has given for us through our service. The third thing that I would like to talk is humility is depending on God. And the book of Exodus 33:15 says, Then Moses said to him, If your presence does not go with us, do not send us from here. Moses' prayer, a powerful prayer, a prayer of humility. If your presence does not go with us, do not send us from here. A prayer by a humble man. We should know, I say this again and again, Moses had 2 million people with him, a strong 2 million people. And he had experience. Before he entered Egypt again, he was taking care of his father-in-law in the rugged terrain of Mount Sinai. He knows the topography. He knows what is the mountainous regions of Sinai. He has been there 40 years. He's a native to that area. He knows about the land. And behind him there were 2 million people. Yes, there are some who are rebellious and who complain all the time, but of course there are some loyal people. Out of 2 million, there will be somebody who is always daring and always willing to sacrifice and die for him. 2 million people surrounding him. He could manage and move forward by himself. He has power, he has position, he has authority, he has strength, and he had experience above all, and the respect of the people above all. Yet, Moses prayed, In God alone I trust. Moses prayed, Do not send us if you're not coming, Lord. Do not send us if you're not coming, Lord. And today, as we step into this new year, we're just in the beginning of the new year, and you may have many experiences. You may have many resources. You may have certain position. You may have certain authorities. You may have certain saving or security. And you may think that I will be able to navigate 2024. It is in my hands. I can handle it. But today I want to remind all of you again. Let us humble ourselves. Humility is humbling before God and saying, Lord, I cannot do nothing without you. That I am nothing without you. I need you. I want you. Help me and lead me. That should be our prayer. And that is humility, depending on God totally. Laying aside all the qualities that we have and trusting completely to God. Humbling ourselves and surrendering everything. Let God go before us. Make a level path for Him. Let God lead us. Make a room for Him that He will be the masters of our life. And we will be led by His counsel. What a future and glorious journey if God lead us and if God walk by us. God is willing today that He wants to lead all of you again. God is looking and knocking at the door of each one of us, that He wants to come and reign. He wants to go before us, and He wants to be His master. Be humble. Give space to Him in your life. That is humility. Depending on God. Don't send us unless you're not coming. And today, that can be our prayer. Lord, I don't know. Today is 4th February. And the coming days and weeks and months and season, I do not know. But I surrender to You. I give it to You completely. I do not depend on myself, but I look to You for Your direction. And I surrender everything to You today. That will be our prayer. So I want to close. Today we talk about humility. Humility, that you should be teachable and willing to learn even from your subordinate, and also be willing to learn from your seniors. What is your service to God and to your fellow man for the great works, example that God has laid out just before our eyes, washing the feet of His disciples? Have we washed the feet of disciples? And have we returned a service of gratitude for Him for all the good works He has done? And the third is, make level path for Him. And what a glorious future if He walk by our side. And that confidence and that assurance we can get if we totally surrender to Him today. The Lord will come. He'll be our master. And we will walk in His direction. And we will live a life of total dependence, not relying on our talents and on our securities, but just trusting God. That is how Moses moved forward in his journey. May the good Lord bless him.